Greetings, this is Paul the Pope from paulthepope.com. Today's topic, trend update, activity in the Golan Heights, Iranian activity in the Golan Heights. We are at September 1, 2017. Scripture references out of Ezekiel 39, verse 2. And I will turn you about and drive you forward and bring you up from the uttermost parts of the north and lead you against the mountains of Israel. Ezekiel 38:5, Persia, Ethiopia, and put with them, all of them with shield and helmet. And we're going to be focusing on Iran. And they've got their finger in every aspect of this story. We're going to talk about three different parts. And the first part we're going to take a look at is in and around the Golan Heights. And this is out of the news dated August 31st, 2017. And we're going to zoom in on the Golan Heights here in the blue in the northern part of Israel on this little town of Quneitra, which happens to be in Syria. The United States is allowing Iranian-supported militia less than 10 kilometers from the Israeli Golan Heights in Syria. And in Quneitra, that's where it's taking place. I mean, they are inviting Iranian-supported troops, along with Russians, right on the border with Israel. Israel obviously does not support the move. Syria is supported by Iran and Hezbollah out of Lebanon. And Lebanon's just right across the way. We're talking about this little area right here. Lebanon is their neighbor to the north and to the west. All of these groups are Shia Muslims, and they support Syria's President Assad. The support behind all the Shia activity in Syria is Russia. Now, these comments are quoted per Pravda, a news source out of Russia. These were the observations of the Russians regarding Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu in his meeting with Vladimir Putin in Sochi, Russia, last week. Netanyahu was observed to be, quote, too emotional and at times even close to panic, close quote. And again, that's per the Russians and a quote out of Pravda, which is truth in Russia. That's what that means. Israeli officials deny the observations. And that's from www.timesofisrael.com. U.S. to let Iranian-backed militias within 10 kilometers of Golan Heights. It's crazy. The United States is allowing this. I mean, we're withdrawing from this area. Which also brings us to the head of Hezbollah, Hassan Nasrallah. He has surfaced, literally. Now, Nasrallah made the road trip from his bunker to Damascus to see President Assad of Syria. The leader of Hezbollah, Mr. Nasrallah here, has been living in a hole since 2006 in the war against Israel. And the reason he is living in a hole, Nasrallah is on Israel's most wanted list. And we have a quote from the leader of Hezbollah, Hassan Nasrallah. We call on the state to devise a plan and take sovereign decision to liberate the Shaba'a farms and the Karshuba hills. And so we'll go back to our map and we'll zoom in on the Golan Heights. And that's this area right up here on the far northern edge of the Golan Heights in Israel. And essentially, Nasrallah is calling on Lebanon to remove Israel from this region. Now, it's known, as Mount Dove in the Hebrew. Now, August 28th, a few days ago, 2017, ISIS and Hezbollah agreed to a truce. Hundreds of ISIS fighters and pro-ISIS civilians were sent packing in a bus from the Lebanon-Syria border. We'll back out and take a look at that. And that was up in this area right here. There was a little pocket of ISIS. And so they cut a deal for all the ISIS folks to leave. Now, it's believed that the pro-ISIS people were sent to eastern Syria near Iraq, up in this area. In the gray were the ISIS still controls this area. It doesn't appear to be for too long. But the bottom line with this deal, ISIS is done in Lebanon. And as an aside, ISIS has been defeated west of Mosul in Tal Afar, Iraq, and ISIS is essentially done in Iraq. ISIS is on the ropes in Raqqa, Syria. So ISIS, they're running out of territory and they're getting squeezed throughout the Middle East. Nasrallah was in support of the deal and told Assad the following, quote, "We have a humanitarian cause. We wish you, Assad, to help us. We can only know what happened to the soldiers through this compromise." Assad told Nasrallah, "This will make things difficult for me." I don't know what kind of deal that involves, because these two folks are Shia, ISIS being Sunni. A lot of people were opposed to this, but at any rate, they shipped out a whole bunch of ISIS folks over to the east and got them out of Lebanon. And as from the timesofisrael.com, Hezbollah chief urges recapture of Mount Dov from Israel. Now, again, Mount Dov's this little bitty space down here in the Golan Heights, which Israel controls. And Nasrallah wants to take it back. August 31st, this is yesterday, Behold Israel is reporting Russia has stationed the S-400 missile system near Tartus. And that's up here in Syria. And there's Tartus. Give you a big picture. It's on the coast of the Mediterranean, west coast of Syria. We'll zoom in. And it's a region down in the southwest corner on the border north of Lebanon, the city of Tartus and the region of Tartus. Now, this is also the factory that manufactures long-range missiles for Hezbollah. The factory is supported and paid for by Iran. That's out of beholdisrael.com. Again, a link is provided as well. So the bottom line is Israel they have their finger in everything going on in Syria. And they're building missile factories. They've got the Russians to defend those missile factories with S-400 missiles. And they're cutting deals to get ISIS out of there so they can take control. So, bottom line, pay attention to all of this. The crew for Ezekiel 38 and 39 is getting together. Russia, Iran, Turkey, the gang's getting the pieces put together. There will be a massive military build at some point, and it's all going to come right through here on the mountains, in the mountains of Israel. Scripture, Ezekiel 39, verse 2 says so. At any rate, y'all take care. Have a good evening. Thanks a lot. Bye.